Good morning, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. As you know, this is where we gather once a week to learn the tools of happiness. I break down the research and the rigor, the tips and the tools of happiness 1 minute at a time so that we can actually incorporate it into our lives. Before we get started, I have to tell you a little secret, but don't tell anyone. I woke up kind of grumpy today. I know I'm a happiness expert. I know all the tools. And I woke up kind of grumpy. My back was hurting. I had a nightmare. I just was kind of grumpy. So I just wanted to let you know what I did because I was self-aware of the fact that I know I can change that. The first thing I did was I smiled. I just said, just smile, put it on your face and see what that does. Helped a little bit. So then what I did is I looked at my vision board and I focused on the things that I wanted to do. And then I listened to a motivational clip on YouTube. And then I listened to some Abraham Hicks. And I will tell you, I feel so much better. I was able to turn it around in less than 30 minutes. So if you wake up grumpy, just know you have the power. You have the tools that you can switch it. You can turn it around and you just kind of keep adding on, layering on those tools until you feel better. Because I am telling you, and you know it because I talk about it all the time, what you think about, you bring about. And that feeling that you have is what you attract. So if I had been grumpy, I would have not been able to find the shirt that I wanted to wear. And then I wouldn't have been able to find what I wanted to pack in my kids' lunch. And then they would have had trouble getting in the car. And it just would have kept spinning. So the more that the faster you switch it around, the better. So I just wanted to tell you that it is possible. And even for me, I'm not happy all the time, but boy, I don't stay grumpy for very long. Okay, let's go. We are so excited. Let's move into what we have today because of course I try to cram in so much into half an hour. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, we're going to talk about the tips and the tools and the research and the rigor of happiness, and we're going to get you in and out in half an hour. Today, we're going to talk about how to be successful in whatever it is that you want. You've seen a picture like this. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. I want to do it. How do I do it? I'll try to do it. I can do it. I will do it. What is it that gets that person from the bottom of the steps to the top of the steps? And I will tell you, it is 2 words. Self-discipline. Oh, that word brings up anxiety in me because I was not born with self-discipline. My parents didn't drill it into me. It is something I struggle with all the time, but I know what to do and I am going to teach you. So do you know that the top resolutions every year are number 1, to eat better, number 2, to exercise more, and number 3, to spend less money? All right, everybody, say it with me. What do all those 3 things take? Self-discipline. What does everybody lack? Self-discipline. Well, not everybody, but it definitely is a challenge for a lot of people. So right now, we're not going to talk about how to lose weight and how to spend less money and how to exercise more. But what we are going to do is drill it down to what we practice here is how to be happier. So success with becoming happier is using the tools that we talk about and making it a habit. And what do you need to do that? Yep, here it is again, self-discipline. So let's talk about that. I love Jim Rohn. He's one of my favorite motivational gurus. And he says, life is full of laws that both govern and explain behaviors. But the law of sowing and reaping may well be the major law we need to understand. For every disciplined effort, there are multiple rewards. And so the first thing to know is that discipline equals success and rewards. And so you just got to keep drilling that into your mind. I me, I love my little motivational videos, so I've got a quick one for you here.
Discipline is a pathway to creativity. The most important variable in behavior change is forcing yourself to behave differently than you feel.
One thing that discipline definitely does help you with is it helps you get things done. And when you get things done, when you actually do things, you have more success. If you have more success, sometimes a big part of success is just not being lazy and just doing it.
Yeah.
That's like 90% of it is just showing up. Get there and start working. Like, you're not going to feel perfect every day, because there's a lot of days I don't want to do it. It's pretty much the same with everybody that actually gets good at something. There's got to be those days you push through, and they're probably going to be more numerous than the days you don't. And so the benefit of discipline in my eyes has always been that through discipline, I get things done. I always say that I'm like the most lazy, disciplined person I know, because I don't want to do it, but I always do.
Separates people from success and not being successful. I've never met a person who was not successful that didn't have a great amount of self-discipline within their life. Self-discipline and being able to perform and being able to keep your life on schedule and being able to keep commitments and promises and meet deadlines is essential to success.
You develop the discipline, the discipline, and I talk about that all the time, the fact that discipline equals freedom, and the more discipline you have as a human, the more freedom you're going to have, which is completely counterintuitive. People think, oh, you're living this disciplined lifestyle, so that means you don't have any freedom. And it's actually the exact opposite. I have freedom because I have discipline. I have financial freedom because I have financial discipline. I have more time. I have more time because I have the discipline to get up in the morning, before most normal people get up. Those are the kind of disciplines that you put in place, and those definitely get instilled through the military.
Get a pad and paper and write down one or two things that you're going to commit to doing every single day, no matter what. You're gonna use that motivation to build a machine for yourself. I'm gonna write in my journal every single day. I'll write a full page in my journal every single day. You become a machine. You don't think about whether you're going to write in your journal or not. You do it because you already made that commitment. Every single day, no matter what. It does not matter if both of your hands were cut off and you have to use your freaking mouth or the pen and write in your journal. You write in your freaking journal every single day. You don't think about it. When you have built a habit, it's ingrained in your nervous system in such a way that the brain doesn't even have to consider whether or not it'll get done. It just gets done because you committed. Commit once. Commit once. You don't need to commit more than once. You commit once to the thing that you're going to do, and then you do it every single day. That everyday method is one of the most powerful methods for reconstructing your entire life. Picking something, one thing. I can't emphasize this enough, how important it is for you to commit to small things on a daily basis, because that is what transforms you. It's those tiny little actions. It's not the grand visions. It's the tiny actions that move towards a worthy ideal.
The tiny actions, and that discipline is what gives you the freedom. And so what we're going to talk about right now are those tiny little actions that you can add into your life, that you can just commit once. These aren't even big things. I'm not even asking you to write a full page in a journal every day. They might just be one thing. So I'm going to remind you of some of the tools that we've talked about in the last 12 lessons. And again, if you're on Facebook Live or you haven't subscribed, it's free on happierbytheminute.com. If you go in and subscribe to the Happy Huddle, you have access to all the past ones, and there is so much good information. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of a couple of the tools that we talked about and we are trying to incorporate in our life. So if you can just pick one of these and commit to one, and there's this really great TED Talk by this guy, I don't know what his name is right off the top of my head, but I just watched it. And he said he just makes micro changes. He just makes little tiny micro changes and a little bit better every day. So it isn't as if you have to run a marathon tomorrow, but maybe you commit to just adding 5 minutes of exercise each day, or 1 minute, or you're just going to write 1 line in a journal and then 2 lines in a journal. It's just the discipline of doing it over and over again. And it takes, now there's all this research that it's 66 days to create a habit. So if you can just do it for 66 days. So here are a couple things that you might want to try to commit to that are very small. Number 1, and it was in the Happy Huddle number 3, is the ways to stop negative mind chatter. Boy, this is one of the biggest ones. It's what I was challenged with this morning, is that negative mind chatter. But if you're visualizing your best self and what it feels like, if you're writing something positive down, practicing self-compassion when you start getting annoyed with yourself, if you do guided meditation once a day, or even it doesn't even need to be guided meditation, just 10 minutes of meditation, talking to a friend, but there's a little asterisk in there that it needs to be a friend who's not going to just complain with you, but they're going to help talk you out of it, out of your negative mind chatter. And then just simply observing. Self-awareness, is my other favorite word. You can't do any of this without self-awareness. So you need to be aware that you've got this mind chatter and aware that you're trying to be more disciplined. In Huddle number 4, we talked about gratitude. If you can add the discipline of gratitude at least once a day, every day, it will be life-changing for you. I promise you. There is so much research that I don't even want to go into it. But if you want to learn more about gratitude, go back to the Happy Huddle number 4. There's so many things. I give you all kinds of ways that you can add it in, just by random acts of kindness, or adding compliments in, or watching an inspirational video every day. So there are so many different ways to add gratitude in. In Huddle number 5, one of my favorite ones, we talked about a morning ritual. And I made this great little anagram, which is game on. So just if you do it in less than half an hour every morning, gratitude, affirmations, a little bit of meditation, 10 minutes of exercise, and then just imagine an optimistic narration of your day, of your life, some visualization, that will change your life. If you can do that discipline every morning, and again, it can take less than half an hour, and you just do game on, that will be life-changing towards many things, not just about being happier, but you're going to feel better about yourself. You're probably going to eat better. You're probably going to want to do more active things, maybe not park so close and get a parking spot that's a little bit further away. You're not going to be so annoyed with things. Like, just this tiny little ritual could be really life-changing. In number 7, we talked a lot about action and just moving forward, obviously, and no action. Simply being self-aware of taking action, and certainly self-discipline and the discipline of whatever it is that you choose to do every day, what you want to commit to, is just taking the action. How are you going to do that? How are you going to sleep with your tennis shoes on so that you know that you're going to get up? Put your alarm in the other room, so when the alarm goes off, you have to take action. You got to get out of your bed to turn it off. So those are the types of things. Set a reminder in your phone for noon, and that your action is to say 3 things that you're grateful for. So these are just little tiny self-discipline things or tools that you can add in. In number 8, we talked a lot about affirmations and how powerful they are. What you say to yourself, what you follow, the 2 words I am, is absolutely what you create in your life. I am a loser. I am unhappy. I am lonely. Those are what you are conditioning your neural pathways to believe. Now, if you say, I am strong, I am powerful, I am self-disciplined, like, I have to be careful not to say, I'm really bad at self-discipline. Oh, I suck at it. It's hard for me. That, I can see those little firing neurons whenever I say that. And so I have to keep going over like 100 times a day, 100 days, is to say, I am self-disciplined. I can make it happen. And even if it's completely not true, because Abraham Hicks will say, if it's so not true, like I am a millionaire, and your brain says, you're really not a millionaire, you only got $50 in the bank, then what you want to say is, I am a believer in the universe and that it is abundant. I am worthy of receiving the abundance that is out there. I am vibrating at a level that attracts abundance and self-discipline and love and health. So change those things. If you don't 100% believe it, make it a little bit broader. Of course, one of my favorite ones is the Huddle Number 9, which is 8 to great. If you can think of 8 things that you can do during a day so that at the end of the night, you feel like that was a great day. Because as I said, a great life is the accumulation of a bunch of great days. And so it's really just about making a lot of great days. So find the 8 things. For me, it's connecting with my family, eating clean, meditating, exercise, spreading happiness. So you figure out what those 8 are. And again, the discipline of every day doing that one activity. And of course, the king, the father of self-discipline is Benjamin Franklin, and he had his 13 virtues, and he was trying to become perfect in all of those. But as you know, what he said is he never became perfect, but just in attempting to be perfect and to have the awareness and the discipline to focus on becoming better made him a better person. So it isn't about being perfect. So one of the things, of course, that we hear all the time is, I don't have time and I forget. Well, I'm going to give you one little phrase that will be life-changing. It was completely life-changing for me. And if you're ready, here it is. Is it time management or choice management? That is so important. Because it isn't, we all have the same amount of time in a day. All those successful people, we have the same amount of time as Bill Gates and as Warren Buffett and as Beyonce. It is not about time management, it's about choice management. What are we choosing to do with our time? That was mind-blowing for me. And so let's do a quick exercise. You know, I love to not only just learn something, but I really want us to practice it, because then we get in the habit of doing it. And if I said, hey, go do this later, you're going to say, sure, I'll do that later. And you're never going to do it, because I know I would never do it either. So get out a piece of paper and get out a pen, and then let's do something that I think is going to be really interesting. So write down, if you can just do stream of consciousness, write down all the tasks and activities from the past week, to picking up your children, doing the groceries, working on writing your book, studying for a test, going to work. What did you do at work? Saw clients, made boxes, sold things. What did you do during your week? Did you exercise? Did you play with your children? Did you go out on some dates? Did you cook some meals? Try and write as many different things as possible. And don't forget to include, I binge watched for 2 hours. I can't name any shows because I don't watch any TV. So whatever it is, whatever is the popular show right now, whatever you're binge watching, put that on there. Did you listen to a bunch of music? Did you read some books? Did you go to some movies? Just keep scribbling all the things that you can remember from this past week. And it'd be really interesting to think about all the unconscious things that you did too, right? I mean, I got gas and I went to the grocery store and I went to the dry cleaner and I had to do something, I had to do a return on Amazon, like all those things that we had to do. And let me know, I always use my friend Laura out there for when you've gotten a good list going. And because then we'll move on to the next piece. I always have to watch my time. And And again, if you don't finish it, that's okay. You can always finish it right after. Don't put it off till tomorrow or later tonight, but go ahead and finish it right afterwards, because it's really important to get the exercise going. So the next part of it is I want you to just look at the list of things and maybe just circle or put a P or an R or an N next to them. Which choices, which activities were proactive? Like, yes, I scheduled to do exercise, to do some work on my book, or to go to a dance class to feel better. Which ones were proactive that you really wanted to do to move yourself forward? Which ones were reactive? I had to call the plumber because the sink broke. I had to have a meeting with my boss because I haven't been doing my work because I've been focusing on something else because I'm not happy in my job. We can talk about that one in another huddle. Or neither. You know, like watching TV. Is that proactive, reactive, or is it neither? These are the questions I want you to become self-aware of so that you're really being intentional with your life. You are being a conscious, active participant in your life. You know, we can either complain that we are ruled by all the external things, or we can decide that we are being proactive and we are intentional. Gary Vaynerchuk just said the other day, we're either on the offense or the defense in our life. We're either being defensive that the world is out to get us, all this technology, there's too much noise, there's too much drama in the world, we have a bad president, we've got all these things that are against us. Or you can look at all the amazing things that are happening. Okay, I'm riffing there and I need to keep going. Were your choices of activities an effective use of your time? Now, I have a lot of people that say to me, don't you ever need downtime or white space? Or, you know, TV just helps me turn my brain off. Well, I just choose not to turn my brain off because I only have so many hours left in this life, and I want to use them to do really amazing things and to be better and to, I love listening to TED Talks and Google Talks and listening to motivational things. And I would rather spend a half an hour listening to a talk that helps me learn something and be inspired. And that to me is not, I'm not getting any downtime. You know what I mean? So, it's just a choice, and there's nothing wrong if you do want to binge watch and you do want to do go to sports, and you do want to do things that don't seem very active or effective. That's okay too. It's just a choice as to whether you want to constantly be climbing up the ladder or if you want to just pause on the ladder. It's okay. There's no judgment. I'm just saying, if you want to keep moving up the ladder and your life to be getting better and better, and you want to become happier and happier, it's just a choice between what you're doing with your time. Could any of the choices have been delegated? I know myself, I'm totally guilty of, I just have to do it myself. I just have to do it myself, because if I don't do it myself, it won't be perfect. And you know what? I need to delegate out to my husband. And sometimes they're not always as I would do them, but the world keeps going on. My children still have a good time wherever they end up, even if it's not the place I would have picked for them to spend the day. It's okay. I have to let go of everything around me always being perfect and to delegate some things out, because otherwise I'm just doing everything a little bit of the way. Were you engaged in and uplifted by your choices? Again, it's just the choice. If you're watching Real Housewives, are you really engaged and uplifted? And you got to really think about that. If you're getting sucked into social media, is it uplifting you? Are you engaged in it, or are you just watching other people's lives and feeling like they must have it better than I do? How many times did you say yes and wish you had said no in the last week? So those are really important too. Are you saying yes to things that you don't really want to do because you feel obligated to do it? Remember this is your life. These are your hours. And you really just want to be mindful of what you're choosing. And again, do you feel good about your choices this week? There aren't I'm trying to move away from using good or bad, that there aren't any bad choices. Watching 4 hours of TV isn't a bad choice. The question is, did it feel good? Abraham Hicks and a lot of motivational people talk about, does it feel good? That is an indicator as to whether you're moving in the right direction and you're moving towards what you want to do. Does it feel good? And I don't think that people who are taking advantage of other people, if it feels good in the moment, in the long term, it doesn't. So don't try to misread what I'm saying. But does it feel good when you really do get out to exercise? Does it feel good when you don't eat the sugar and you do eat the healthy food? Does it feel good at the end of the day when you've met your 8 to great, when you've connected, when you've been grateful? Those are the things that you really want to think about. Does that choice make me feel good? And, does it make me feel better about myself and where I'm going? That's a really big question. So here are just a couple quickie tips on how to be more disciplined, because of course we all want to be more disciplined. So know your why. Why do you want to eat better? Why do you want to exercise? Because I want to be around for a long time with my kids, because I want to be able to fit into that bikini by summer. Now, you're not going to see me in a bikini, but some people, that might be their motivation. Know your why, and that's going to help push you through. Choose wisely. Your social media, your TV, your friends. Choose wisely. Do those friends make you feel better when you leave them, or do you feel worse? It's really that simple. And I have a friend who says, well, I'm friends with that person because I've been friends since childhood. Is that really what you want at the end of your life, is to say, I hung around really negative people because I just thought I should? Nope, get rid of it. Have a plan. Know what you're going to do tomorrow. Know what that discipline, that one thing that you're going to commit to, know what it is. Write it down. Put it on a Post-it note. Put it on a vision board. Whether it's a morning ritual, whether it's exercising, whether it's eating a certain thing during the day, do it anyway. Okay? That's my mantra. When I don't feel like doing something, or I get nervous about doing something, do it anyway. Do it anyway. Like I write it on my hand sometimes. And then use tools. There's something called the Pomodoro method, time blocking, planners, friends, mastermind groups, people that you work out with. So don't feel like you have to be disciplined on yourself, just by yourself. Use the tools. And you can just Google self-discipline tools or time management, because people are still calling it time management, even though it's choice management. But there are things to improve your ability to use your time more wisely when you are doing something, like when you're studying or when you're writing, or because if you sit down to write and you say, I've got to write for 3 hours. No, just put 10 minutes on your timer, or to write or to study or to exercise, anything. Just put 10 minutes on a timer. You can do anything for 10 minutes a day. Avoid distraction. So distraction is not just TV and social media, but also worrying about the future, dwelling on the past, worrying or thinking about or getting involved in other people's stuff. Really, do you need to get involved in other people's stuff? So this morning, as I was getting kind of grumpy, I started to go down the rabbit hole of, why am I feeling grumpy? And gosh, I had a bad dream, and, I can't seem to get this one thing right. And I didn't go to bed till really late. And I was like, stop trying to figure it out. Just move into what it is that you want to focus on. Don't try to figure out what went wrong. We're doing that a lot, most of the time. What am I doing wrong? 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 Stop. Just start focusing on, what do I want to do right? What do I want to do right? What do I want to do right? That is going to be huge. Just that one little twist. and of course, plan for success and visualize success. That's how you're going to get from here to there. And if you know that you can do it, and you know that you're going to get there, it's amazing how just visualizing it and knowing you can do it and thinking about it and planning for it and using tools, self-discipline all of a sudden becomes easier. And you're thinking, I have no problem getting up to exercise. That's so bizarre. That's not like me, but I'm so excited and I can attract it and I can do it and I love it. Those are the things about self-discipline. So, you know, I love to get you in and out in half an hour, and that is it, my friends. So I am so excited for you to be here. Again, if you have not subscribed and you want to see the past ones, please go to happierbytheminute.com and you can subscribe and you can see all the past ones, and then you can sign up for the future ones and get reminders. But I love, love, love being here. Thank you for showing up, because it means I got to show up, which means I got to keep practicing the tools myself. And so I love it. I love it. I love it. So I am super grateful for everything. You guys go commit to something, okay? And have an amazing day. Bye.